What is up, ladies and gentlemen, YouTube? That's right. I'm Chris and today I'm going to be talking about The Magicians, episode 2 of the first season. Let's get this thing started. Please stay to the end. Don't be a dick. Watch the whole video and subscribe. Help me out. Now let's get to the basic plot of this episode right here, right now. The basic plot of this episode takes place exactly where we left off in the first episode, where Quentin, Alice, and a whole bunch of these others are pretty much, they battled this beast. This beast came, the one with the bees. They kind of vanquished it, and then this is the aftermath. The aftermath now is like the magic police or some investigators are pretty much questioning everybody in the school as to who pretty much put this spell out there. And then it turns out it kind of leads to Alice, and it leads to Quentin, and if they find out that it was them, then it kind of leads to expulsion and mind explosion also. They wipe their memory clean, kind of like how they almost did to Jules, and there it is. That's our basic plot of this episode. Now, I enjoyed this episode, and the tone of this episode is pretty much still staying clear as to the very first premiere. Now, what was good in this episode was that we get to learn some character development. Character development is always a positive in my book, so bring it. What we learned that Elliot actually was trying to cheer up Quentin, and Elliot's not exactly a friendly guy per se. He's a bit of a douchebag, but for the most part, but a douchebag with a bit of a heart. So he pretty much tells Quentin that, he eventually killed the guy. They're kind of bonding, tells him that he eventually killed this guy, but that's the first time he kind of learned that he was a telekinetic. So I was like, okay, now we're starting to learn a bit more about Elliot. Maybe he has a little bit of a darker past, and maybe he's bullshitting, who knows. But any character development is good enough. Also, I thought Quentin was still on point in this episode. Kid needs a haircut, but that's a whole nother story. Also, we get to learn a little bit more about the world, particularly the lore. Any show, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever it may be, you have a good lore, then that can make your show go on forever. We get to learn about battle magic. I thought that was kind of a cool theme, the crystals and whatnot. We get to learn about, the beast. The beast comes from different worlds. There's different worlds on top of the world that we see, and that's also cool. Also, we get to learn about this underground witchcraft magic. I thought that was also great to see. We eventually Jules, also for her part of the story, she eventually goes to track down this underground magic thing. She trying to find her magic herself because she didn't get into school. She eventually goes through this test. They kind of put her through to prove that she is worthwhile, and she kind of passes the test. But eventually, there's a bit of a twist, and I thought the twist actually kind of worked out a little bit well. And then, that it is. Though she is getting a little bit desperate, and that could be careless. For me personally, I feel like the magic in the show, magic is almost like a metaphor for something like anger or eagerness or whatever it may be. I feel like it's a metaphor. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. I don't know, but that's what I'm just saying. And also, the conversation with Quentin and the head lady, I forgot her name, but the redhead. I felt like that was so like an awkward scene, but it was also kind of like funny. But I thought that was actually one of the standout scenes of the show. We also learned that the dean is still alive, pretty much. The dean is still alive. His hands are no longer working. He's in a hospital. His eyes are fucking done. But he's still alive, and he looks angrier than ever. And I'm glad, because I actually did enjoy the dean in the first episode. And then we kind of figure out that the dean is pretty much still... he pretty much put together Penny and Alice and, Quentin. Pretty much he brought them all to the school for a specific reason, to train them and prepare them well enough to pretty much be a magician. There it is. So why? What are they preparing them for? I don't know. But there's something coming, and that's what I like. It keeps you kind of invested and interested. Quentin seemed like he didn't... Also going into the episode, Quentin seemed like he didn't want to lose his mind. He felt like, he didn't want to lose all the sadness. I enjoyed the metaphor where it's just like, once you see, all these colors, you don't want to go back to black and white. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was actually pretty good. And also, he eventually kind of end this episode pretty much with, not end it, but the chick that is dating Penny, or with Penny, we kind of realized that she is actually with the people that are with the underground witches, or whatever you want to call them. So that's a little bit thing. So therefore, you kind of be like, yeah, there's something weird going on at school. But then it kind of ends with Quentin kind of finding some happiness a bit, hanging out with Penny and, not Penny, Elliot and I think Maura, I forgot her name. But yes, that's pretty much what this episode was. I thought this episode was fun, and we kind of get to learn a bit more and more and more and more, and that's good. But comment, subscribe, and like. Help me out. Signing out. But please subscribe.